guys, and welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Podcast, as well as another episode or another piece in the Powerhouse Mentality Community Facebook group of the Powerhouse Training that we have every single Monday at usually scheduled for 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. However, I have client calls before this, so my clients win, and they generally go a little bit over. And that means that we usually get started around 7:40, 7:45. But today's topic, guys, we're going to get into it, is 3 reasons why you're not seeing results in the gym. And there's a caveat to this. 3 reasons why you're not seeing results in the gym unrelated to diet and sleep. Because it would be really easy for me to say, well, if you're not seeing results in the gym and you're working out, what probably is happening is you're eating like an asshole, whether that be you're restricting or you're eating like an asshole, and everybody knows what that means. You're eating stupidly. Or if you're not sleeping, you're not properly recovering, obviously that's going to impact the results that you see in the gym. So today we're going to be focused on 3 reasons why you're not seeing results in the gym, assuming that your diet and your sleep is on point and perfect, even though nothing is perfect. But before we start, of course, I have a beverage of choice, and tonight's beverage of choice, I'm trying something new because, again, I get what's on sale. Maison Perrier, and I definitely butchered that. Forever Lime, because, I just like fucking lime ones. And that sound is just super satisfying. Yep, that tastes like lime sparkling water. Can't complain. Tastes delicious. If you like lime sparkling water, they kind of all taste the same. Cool. So, let's talk about 3 reasons why you're not seeing results in the gym. Again, assuming that your diet and your sleep is on point. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up is that I feel like I've been in the industry for about 12 years now, coaching and training people. More than that if you want to include my own fitness journey. And one of the biggest complaints that I have from people who I train or who come to me, as a client before we start training, because I get fucking people results. But before they start working with me is I always work out. I work out consistently. I tried it and it didn't work for me. I don't know what to do. Number 1, and this is going to kind of be an extra, all right? This is like an extra tip. If you're not following a program and you're just going into the gym and doing whatever feels right or doing whatever came into your head while you were in the gym, on the way to the gym, or if you're just picking off random workouts from Instagram that you saw, that's probably why you're not seeing results, because you need to follow a properly executed program in order to actually see results. If you're just going in and doing random shit, well, you're gonna get random results. That's kind of how it works. It's kind of like if you're doing something inconsistently and expecting to get consistent results, you're literally trying to do something that's impossible. You get what you put into it, right? So if you're putting in random stuff, you're gonna get random results. And most people don't want random results. They want the results that they're after. So that's just a little bit of an extra one. Now, if you are following a program, here are 3 reasons why you're not seeing results. Number 1 is effort. You're lacking effort. Your effort sucks. This one is probably the most common one. I worked in a gym for 7 years, and I saw people come in and out of the gym month after month after month, year after year after year. I worked at some gyms for years, and they looked the fucking same. And the reason why they looked the fucking same despite being consistent with their workouts is because when I would look at their workouts, I could literally predict where they were going. I could predict the exact weight that they would use because they would use the same exact weight every single time. And they would be on their phone more often than they were actually working out. And they clearly were not pushing those sets close to failure. You need to push your sets hard in your workouts. People go to the gym, like I said, year after year, and they see little change because they simply are not pushing themselves enough. They're not pushing themselves enough close to failure on the movements that they're doing. If you're doing leg extensions and you're doing 3 sets of 10, warm up to your working weight. Warm up to your working sets. Your 3 sets don't include the lightweight, the lighter weight, the lightest weight. It includes, okay, I got to a set where 10 reps at this weight is really challenging and I can maybe get 1 or 2 reps outside of what I hit. You need to push yourself close to failure. Research shows that the closer you get to failure, the greater the muscle growth long term. But going all the way to failure on all of your sets is a recipe for a disaster. So there's a fine line here. You go close to failure. You can go to failure on your final set for certain exercises, depending on the difficulty of the exercise. You don't want to be going to failure on back squats, because that could do more harm than good. But going to failure on a leg extension could be really good on the final set. Not with every set, because then it's going to impact your performance negatively. So there's a fine line. But the biggest point that you want to get here is that your effort sucks. Most people's effort sucks. I've seen it so often where I look at somebody that I would train and I'd say, hey, let's go up in dumbbells. They thought that they couldn't, then they did, and it was really hard, but they did it. That's the difference. Try pushing yourself a little bit harder during your training. Use weights that take you closer to failure. Don't be afraid to fail. That's the most important thing. Do not be afraid to fail. If you constantly fear failure in the gym, you will never reach your full potential with your results. So number 1 is effort. This is really good, actually. Anyway, number 2, give your muscles a reason to grow. And we do that through progressive overload. So part of a proper resistance training program is incorporating progressive overload. And progressive overload, in a very easy to understand term, is just adding a little bit every single week. Making something a little bit more challenging every single week. If you go in every week and you're doing a program, and every single week, you go in and you do 10 reps at 20 pounds every single week for every single set, you're not gonna see results. You're not giving your muscles a reason to grow. Now, what if you went in one week and you did 3 sets of 10 at 20 pounds? The next week you did 3 sets of 11 at 20 pounds. The next week you did 3 sets of 12 at 20 pounds. And then you did 3 sets of 10 at 25 pounds. You're progressively overloading. It's kind of like if you were to put a backpack on, you were to fill it with some rocks, and you're walking, and then it becomes easier, right? And then you add more rocks, it becomes harder again, but then it becomes easier. You add more rocks, it becomes hard, and then it becomes easier. You have to progressively overload, and we do this 4 different ways. 1, with reps. So like I said in the example, 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 11, 3 sets of 12. Increasing your reps. Number 2 is weight. Increasing your weight. And this is really valuable when it comes to lower rep exercises. So if you're doing 6 to 8 reps of something, increasing the weight is going to be more valuable. Okay? Number 3 is improving your technique. So if you can't increase reps and you can't increase weight that week, improve your technique in some way, shape, or form. The most important thing when it comes to resistance training, in order to really test the muscle and give it a reason to grow, is to provide tension. Tension is king. So if you're doing a bicep curl and you're just allowing gravity to bring it down, you're not going to see great results with that. You're not testing the muscle. So bicep curl, control it on the way down. And the more controlled, you're improving your technique, right? The 4th thing is improving mind-muscle connection. So mind-muscle connection is simply, can you feel the muscle working? And can you feel it contracting, relaxing? That better the mind-muscle connection, the more intentional you're going to move the weight. It doesn't matter how much weight you're moving, it matters how you're moving that weight. If you're just throwing it around, you're not even connecting with the muscle, so you're not going to give your muscle a reason to grow. All right, and number 3, this one's pretty damn common too, you're overcomplicating it or you're overdoing volume. More is not always better, especially when it comes to resistance training and working out. There is a bell curve, and the bell curve goes like this. Volume goes up, up, up. Oh, you're going to add more volume? Cool, we're going to go down now with results. Because your body can only adapt and recover from the appropriate amount of stress. That appropriate amount of stress is going to be different for each individual, depending on what's going on in your life. Because if you're going through a lot of emotional stress, it's going to impact how much physical stress through your workouts that you can actually recover from. Some people have better genetics to be able to handle more volume, such as athletes. So I can actually handle a lot more volume than some other people, and vice versa, right? So when it comes to volume, if you want to keep it super generic and super general, and you're like creating your own workout program, focus on doing 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. Most people will be really fine at 10 sets, but if you're somebody who, again, can handle more volume and you feel like you can push it a little bit more, 20 sets. But going anywhere over that, you're just going to get that negative bell curve, and you're probably going to stall. Because if your body cannot recover and adapt to what you're throwing at it, you won't see results, because the adaptation is where the results come. And the second part of that is overcomplicating movements. So yes, exercise variety and adding novelty to your training is important, but it's not as crazy as people make it. For example, if I'm doing dumbbell bench press every single week, why don't we change that occasionally, every 8 to 12 weeks, and do incline dumbbell bench press or single arm dumbbell bench press. You don't have to go and fucking stand on a Bosu ball and do squats and presses and do all these weird fucking movements. The best movements are the basic movements. They're boring, but not really, because you can make it as exciting as you want to. But they don't get the views on social media because they're not super elaborate and crazy, but they've been around for as long as they've been around because they deliver results. Dumbbells, barbells, machines, cables, they work. Use them. And along with that, the overdoing volume and the overcomplicating things, rest between your sets is extremely important. In fact, rest between your sets is one of the most important things. Because if you're not resting enough between sets of resistance training and you're just kind of like cycling through things, it's no longer resistance training. It's just fucking cardio. And you're hitting energy systems that aren't going to help you build muscle. So if you actually want to build muscle, rest for at least a minute between your sets. But the best results are usually between 90 seconds and 3 minutes, depending on the exercise and depending on the amount of load that you're using. So if I'm doing 5x5 back squats, I'm probably going to rest like 2 to 3 minutes because that's a heavy load at a low rep. If I'm doing 5x10 bicep curls, I'm probably going to rest like a minute to 90 seconds because bicep curls aren't as demanding on the body. Okay? So the biggest thing to remember here, guys, when it comes to not seeing results in the gym, assuming that your diet and your sleep is on point, is 1, effort matters. You need to push your sets hard. Okay? Number 2, you have to give your muscles a reason to grow through progressive overload, and you need to stop overcomplicating it and overdoing volume. So again, 3 reasons you're not seeing results in the gym, unrelated to diet and sleep. Number 1, effort. You need to push your sets hard. 2, you have to give your muscles a reason to grow through progressive overload. And 3, you have to stop overcomplicating it and overdoing volume. If you need help with training, if you need help with programming, comment me down below and I'll shoot you a message so I can see if I can help. And if I can't help, then I'll direct you in the right direction because I want to be able to help everybody who's in this group. So if you guys need anything at all, shoot me a message, shoot me a DM, find me on Instagram, whatever you need. But outside of that, go out and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be. And I will see you guys in the Powerhouse community next week. If you found this episode of the podcast valuable, go down below and make sure that you join the free Powerhouse Community Facebook group where we deliver value every single day. On Mondays, we do these live trainings that I always record for the podcast. On Tuesday and Friday, we deliver recipe and cooking tips. On Wednesday, we celebrate our wins. And on Thursday, you hear some extra Thursday thoughts from me. So if you're not a part of the community, go ahead and join. And if you need anything at all, make sure you message me.